How's it going, everybody? I don't want to say introduction, but fuck it. This is the number. Hey, is this the podcast number 6, right?
Yeah.
Number 6.
Yes.
This is Blackchief, and we're doing podcast number 6. Welcome, everybody. I don't know how many motherfuckers were listening out there, but now that this shit's on YouTube. Definitely.
Most
Shit,
definitely.
we can get started on this motherfucker for reals. Hell yeah. Fuck all that fucking SoundCloud bullshit. But we got a couple guests here. Styles,
What's
the
up?
Rezmade rider. What's your you got anything to say, bro, to the people out there?
Give a shout out to the whole Navajo Nation.
Oh
To
shit.
the whole Rezmade camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing this whole music thing.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to Diaz, Jay the Dizzy. Shout out
outs
to
them.
AZI.
Hell yeah.
Full Scale. Shout out to everybody doing their own
Hell
thing.
yeah.
Man. Rezmade supports Native hip hop.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Native hip hop to the motherfucking fullest. We got Be Fresh in the building.
What's up?
How's it going, man? You good?
It's all good, dude.
Yeah, we just about to talk about some shit, just like kind of like, you know, making sure people are whatever, entertained, or maybe it's a movement, maybe it's something a lot different, getting people to think outside the box other than, you know, your little Xbox. Other than fucking thinking about little shit, you know what I mean? So we're gonna get into it right now, but yeah, Rezmade Podcast number 6.
Rezmade up.
Dope.
Up. Arizona.
One nation. Navajo nation.
Flow with my native kicks, all black, white, face, shit. Dress, perfect fit, talking shit won't get you put in a ditch. Fuck the government's bullshit. Get your tribe together, clench your fist, fight for the rights. Quit being a bitch. The time is here, it's just a glitch. A stupid system of the year. Blackchief, doing it big, dangerous like fully loaded clips. Now pass the beer.
Yeah, dude. Styles, man.
What up?
How's it going, man?
Good. One day at a time.
Yeah. Look how low you are, man. Didn't you come over here and put your voice over there? Put your voice in everybody's ears and shit, you know.
Yeah, what's up?
Whisper into everybody's ear.
So what's up, man? Like, you liking the music and you liking all that shit and you doing it up?
Yeah, it's inspiring. Something to seek, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On my path, you know what I mean? I had a passion for music since, man, at an early age, you know?
Yeah. Shit, dude. Early age, huh? Like, that's how I was too, man. Like, I was listening to a lot of shit and then like a lot of fucking music, and I was like, oh, fucking DMX. I like DMX because that motherfucker was like, you know, he was all getting it, and his beats were fucking dope. I think he was had the cleanest beats in that shit, dude. So I think a lot of that is pretty. Man, I got inspired by a lot of those old motherfuckers. You know what I mean? They doing that thing. What are you gonna rap on this shit or what? What are you
Right there.
I'll tell you my story.
Oh shit! He's a popper filter in the front of the mic now. I thought he was fucking busting flows. We can do a freestyle session. You want to do that?
A freestyle session?
Are you good with that or nah?
Let's get some more inspiration on him, man.
Oh shit! So you like to be inspired a lot.
Yeah.
So what inspires you to fucking just get your game on and get going?
I see my people like doing their own thing, you know what I mean? They're trying to make it up to the top, you know? You have all kinds of let me see, how do you say it, man? Damn, man, can't put in, let me just say different race, okay?
Different race.
Yeah, different race.
Yeah.
Like the African Americans, they're on top. They're doing entertaining and all that, you know. But I think we're taking, man, can you say that word, man? You know what I mean? Like we're taking for granted, you know what I mean? Because a lot of us Native Americans, we have a lot of skills too, you know what I mean? I mean, as you can see, from when I was growing up, the first Native American that I seen growing up successful, you know what I mean? Living the good life, grinding out for their family, you know what I mean? And that was Lightfoot, you know what I mean? And after that, I seen all kinds of Native rappers come from the Navajo Nation to where they're just, let me see. How they say they have their own label now, you know what I mean? They have their own little labels. They're doing their own thing.
So you're saying these rappers that come out, they just automatically start their own label. Yeah. Like I know I met Diaz, and you know he made that, you know, Rezmade. He came up with that shit, and you know we jumped on with him. Yeah. So right now we're doing our thing. You know what I mean? But big ups to him. But he's not in Arizona, so we can't work with him. But you know what I mean? But you know, so we still doing our thing. But we gonna be doing it. We're gonna do it big. So right now we ain't even messing around. You got like people that are, you know, listening to us, and it's real shit. I think, you know what I mean? Like I think it's not like, you know, it's not bullshit. As far as a bunch of other motherfucking like mainstream music, you have like these motherfuckers talking about bitches and hoes and assholes and fucking pussy holes and fucking all types of holes. You know, so I you know, I'm not sure about what's gonna happen, but all I know is, man, you have to follow your dreams. That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm doing too.
Yeah, exactly, man. I think all we gotta do.
The only reason why I'm sitting in this seat is because I'm following my dreams. That's all it is.
Hell yeah. See
I
that?
think if everybody have a dream like Martin Luther King, you know.
Hell yeah.
I mean, man, if you have that, you know what I mean. If you have that like motivation, you know, grasp that dream. You know what I mean.
Yeah, man. That's what I figured out. I was just always like I was just like wondering, man, how come we don't get a chance?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck it. You got to build your own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to like continue what you were saying. Like, you know, like how like all these like different races they're putting out their stuff, you know, like
entertainment,
entertainment
wise.
I really like see like the potential and like seeing
Native
what you guys
Americans
are talking about, like with Rezmade, like what you guys are talking about is your own experience and how like you guys are growing up and stuff, you know, like the things you guys seen and the things you guys experience. You guys are talking about like things from the Native American perspective. Yeah. Like these stuff don't only happen on like in the African American or community and stuff. It's also happening in our community. You guys are being a voice of the Native American people. Like not only the government, but like your family, your community, like the things you guys are seeing, and it's really inspirational in what you guys are saying. Yeah, you guys are definitely going beyond that.
Hell yeah, dude, definitely. We trying to get up. We trying to like, as far as I don't care about what's on the outside of the reservations. I don't give a fuck. I want to work on us, on our people. I want to be able to inspire and these new kids that are coming up, like, hey, you don't have to follow anybody's orders. You don't have to do anything. You can do what you want to do, but it's the best way is to give love and be happy and do what you want to do that you love in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Never give up.
But you know, on the contrary, like if you said like some of the stuff that in your lyrics, like if you do follow my path or you experience the things I experienced, you're gonna see like shooting, you're gonna see all these like prosperity, you're gonna see all these like disparities and all these what do you call it, alcoholism and drugs use. Like these are in your music, and you guys are speaking to the younger people. Like, you have a better choice. Don't give up. But also, if you follow my ways, these are the things you're going to experience.
Yeah, like, this is that shit you're going to be in.
This is what you're getting yourself involved with.
Yeah. Like to the point where, be careful out there. But, you know, so I started this podcasting a while back with Diaz, and this is probably like the 6th podcast. This would be the 6th podcast, but it's been a while. Because
2 months.
I think it's been was it 2 months? Yeah, the last podcast, fucking slacker. You know what I mean? I want to try to do it every Sunday. You want to be consistent on this shit. You know what I mean? Because I want people to really understand and like listen to it. But I know it's hard to fucking get our voices out there on the reservation because there's really no internet. You know, it's not reaching out all across the whole fucking reservation. But you know, we do the best we can. You know, people can download this shit.
Downloads are...
And we can put a whole podcast CD and start editing them out. I don't know what the fuck, man. I'm just doing what I gotta do, man, here in life, man.
Damn, what's my opinion? I'm fucking drunk and fucking high.
Do you smoke weed?
No, I don't smoke weed. I gave up smoking and I gave up like smoking in general.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And any kind of substance, like...
Well, what about, would you do any kind of psychedelic drugs? Anything like grows from the earth, from Mother Earth? Or is that against the Christian religion?
Well, honestly, like, I believe, like, yes, it is against Christian religion. But just going further into that, like, you know, you don't know what you're going to get yourself into. If you do any psychedelic drugs and stuff, like, coming from Mother Earth,
DMT.
You don't know what you're going to get yourself into. Like, you're just, like, playing with the Ouija board. You're getting yourself into, like, a spiritual realm that, you know, like, you're not in control. I feel like right now, without all these substances, like cigarettes or, like, some sort of like, addictive drug in me, like, I have more self-control, and I feel like I can believe in God directly, but once you get something into, like, an addiction... Like, it takes control of your life, and you don't have control anymore. Like, your free will.
Well, what if there were studies out there that claimed that, like, if you were smoking cigarettes and you were addicted to cigarettes, and this has been proven that people have been doing cigarettes, smoking, and then they would take this ayahuasca or DMT or had like a really huge like psychedelic trip on doing psychedelics, like as far as, you know, ayahuasca, and they did that and it totally changed their life as far as they're not addicted, they're on a different whole level of like a better way of life. Like, they're eating much better, they're eating healthier, and they're being more connected with themselves and loving themselves, and then expressing it out through other different people, out and just showing it and sharing it with other people, no matter who comes in contact with them. I mean, that's a proven and like study that everybody goes to. Like, usually there's like these ceremonies that they happen in South America, and they happen with these people, and they come back to America, and there's only a few little people know about it. But now, like Joe Rogan, people who talk about it, like, they're famous, they talk about that stuff, and they're like more of they're going for that. Mm-hmm. And it's a really life changer type of thing. You know, it's like it could work, but on some people it wouldn't do anything. But it's nothing like you would get addicted to it, because you really can't get addicted to something like that, because you're almost on a different, it puts you on a different level, and it trips you out so bad to where, like, it makes you realize all the bad things that maybe you did in the past, and it just brings all that up to the surface. You know what I mean? So it almost like a cleanse. So it's like some people think, you know, this shit's like really bad, and, you know, you get addicted. But they're comparing that to something they're comparing it to like cigarettes. They're comparing it to alcohol. They're comparing it to other things like that people are facing now. But they really don't understand where those things came from, as far as, okay, who made the cigarettes? Okay, well, you got different scientists in a lab, fucking down to like that know about the human brain, that is like know about addiction and how they transfer and how they like manipulate. How can they get that addiction, the addiction cells, you know, to get them fired up and like wanting more of whatever's in the cigarettes and the ingredients. You know what I mean? So all that, you know, they have that down to a science. So it's like now you have an opposing views towards like psychedelic drugs, which psychedelic drugs I believe will help us a lot. Like it's even in the native culture. You got like peyote that they do in ceremonies as today. We still practice those. So I think like there's a miscommunication on a lot of people, like as far as how the views on drugs and the views on what types of drugs they are. You know what I mean? I think nowadays we can't just say, well, you can get addicted. Those are bad. No. Because marijuana, we thought that shit was horribly fucking bad for your health, bad for everything. But now, look at it now. It's being legalized in Colorado and in many states are looking at that and they're fucking getting money from that shit. But it is helping a lot of people with health issues. You know what I mean? You drink too much alcohol, you're gonna be stuck on smoking weed. If you're living in the state of Colorado, even in Arizona, now you have to have a medical marijuana card, so I don't know. I think that people got to just watch out what they say when they're just kind of explaining like, well, it's like, drugs are bad. You can't just say drugs are bad. You almost got to just kind of like, well, drugs are, like alcohol. Anything that is changing your consciousness, like altering your consciousness to think a different way. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some things that can make you think better, and then there's some that can make you think bad, just like alcohol. I think that is what we need to learn. And I know I'm barely learning all this. I studied pharmacy, and I'm still trying to go for it. But the way it seems, man, that pharmaceutical pills aren't. It's not the best way. It's not engineered to the best. It's a business world, and it's not even they're not even fucking. I mean, it's a whole different thing. If you get into pharmacology and you're going and trying to learn that shit, and then you realize like, wait, okay, so this, the pills doesn't really help because it's not benefiting the person. You're just basically switching them to another pill, and you're switching to them to this pill, but you're not looking at the other shit, like the plants that grow from the ground that can possibly help a person. You know what I mean? Like the willow bark is the main ingredients to the aspirin, to painkillers. You know what I mean? That's probably the only beneficial thing. You got that, and then you got certain pills that are good, you know what I mean? But the majority of them, I don't think, no, you can get addicted to most of them too. So it's like, I don't know about all that shit. I'm just talking bullshit. I don't know if I just lost myself. But what I'm trying to do is like, I'm trying to make information out on the reservation, and I want to spread it through our natives. And I want to get this fucking message out. Not like, oh, I'm not coming to like be a fucking professional or trying to speak right or whatever. I wasn't perfect. Nobody is perfect. So I don't give a fuck what words I say. It's just I'm coming hard to a point where I'm gonna say and I'm gonna do all this. I know people aren't gonna like it, or there's a lot of religion shit that people are in. You got Mormons, you got Christians, you got all these different religions that are just different views, and you know what I mean? Like, and for me to come out, like, at least I'm doing something. I believe in this something in our native culture that is so, it's almost like, yeah, we're doing it, and we're fucking, we're it's all natural, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not even just all like Christian, and we have to do something, like we have to give money to a church or do all that and stuff. But some people they feel comfortable if they like that type of shit, you know what I mean? They want to do that, but it really doesn't matter. I mean as far as I'm pretty sure you joined the Christian religion because you wanted to, you feel secure, or you feel safe. Is that like pretty
honestly,
much?
like everything makes sense. Like all the way, like I could tell you before, like a lot of the correlation between the native culture and the Bible, like a lot of the histories, like really make sense, and they align pretty well. And and like everything besides that, everything's done in English. Like English is my primary language.
Yeah.
But going beyond that, like going back to drugs and stuff, like you really have to be careful on what you're getting yourself and putting yourself into your body. You know, the Bible talks about us like being as a temple. Like we got to take care of our temple.
Yeah.
It's just like your house. Like you don't want to just bring anybody in your house because they're gonna tear it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you don't know what kind of spirits are out there. There are many kinds of spirits out there that are disguising themselves. It's different kinds of things. Like when you want to get inside, like you said, shrooms, and those are natural. What else is natural? Like weed and like peyote and stuff like that. You know, you don't have once that enters your system, you don't have control of it. Like you're basically giving your body or your soul to a higher being. Yeah. And you're giving them control of it. And like you as far as you know, like like you just take whatever information that is speaking to you through the fireplace or whatever, like whatever trip that you're getting yourself into, you know. Yeah. And like comparing it, I would be cautious in like comparing it to like FDA approved medicines. Like not all those medicines work for everybody. Like everybody has some sort of side effects. Like they talk about, oh, if you take these pills, you're gonna have schizophrenia. You have like malfunction. I don't know, like you know, like all these different kinds of symptoms. Like the reason why they know that is because they actually tested on a bunch of people. Yeah. Like in order to get all that information, somebody had to die. Somebody had to like experience those symptoms. You know, like to say like it's. Weed is good for everyone. Like
it's probably not.
It's probably not because you know, like,
different people have.
If they're worshiping something else that contradicts what they're smoking, like, and they're giving to two different spirits in two different kingdoms, you know, like I'm gonna go into the spiritual realm. Like I say, like the spiritual realm is like different countries. You have like a lot of the Russians, like you have the United States, you have like, I don't know, I'm just throwing out there, Germany and like Japan. You can't mix it. No, they're all independent. They're all sovereign. Like they have their own government and stuff. And like you can't mix all that. And then when you try to mix different cultures and two different religions, like it's going to tear you in half. It's going to tear you apart. You don't know what to believe in, like
you get confused and you get stuck in around.
So going back to the Christian like belief system, it's really based on like the Jewish belief system. Like it's easier, honestly, to me, like it's simple to keep your life simple. Like you don't want to overload yourself with different like religion and stuff. Going out beyond, because you can't explain everything. Like you can't explain when you go into the spiritual realm. You can't scientifically explain it. You can't physically explain something like that. Like, and when you go into like different drugs, like you can say like I have these side effects or like your experience on this stuff. It's great that some people do experience positive things, but it's not going to work for everyone else. And I think that's my argument to that. Like, and honestly, like. As for my own belief system, like Jesus Christ is the one way is God, and he died for our sins and he shed his blood, is because like I believe that at one point in time in history, our human history, that God did walk on earth in the form of a human being, which is Jesus Christ. And you know, like him just living, like he honestly, I believe for a fact that he lived a perfect life. Without sin, without anger. He had anger, but he had like godly anger. Like God showed those like human expressions because human beings are like an image of God. We are like created by God because we're an image of God. Like when you go into spiritual realm, it does get confusing. There's different levels of spiritual realm. There's not just like God and the devil. There's also like God and different stratospheres. Like when you go into the like governmental systems, when you go into the governmental system, there's different strategies, stratifications of that governmental system and how we run our stuff. How is that any different from like the spiritual realm? Who controls what and like who disguises themselves as the ultimate being? The United States claims to be the world like powerful economic entity, or they're their main power.
They got their own problems.
But when they also when we compare them with Russia, like when you Google who's the most powerful man on earth, is gonna it's gonna come up as a Russian Putin, the Putin guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not his first name, but you know, like there's different stratifications and even in the physical realm. But when you go into the spiritual realm, like there's also different stratifications to where like who's the ultimate, who's the top dog, like who runs the show, who created everything, like, and our mind. Honestly, human beings they can't wrap their mind around it. So like the universe, we can't wrap our head around that shit. You know how big that motherfucker is. Who knows what's out there? But honestly, for me, simply to say that aliens and Bigfoot doesn't exist. It's all like demonic and spiritual.
Well, so you think aliens don't exist, and Bigfoot? Well, Bigfoot, you know, I don't know about that shit, but you know, I don't know. But for me, I think aliens, I could see, just because we don't understand the whole universe. If we had a grasp on how the fucking universe looks, I mean, then we can say, yeah, well, you know. But for me, I don't know. I wouldn't say I believe in aliens. I don't want to also say there's no aliens out there. We don't know. We can look as far as the fucking moon, maybe. I don't know. Is the internet real? You know what I mean? Are we not just fucking... Are we not on a big-ass, really fucking bad psychedelic trip? Like, you took a drug and then you're going to wake up from this fucking life, you know?
I wouldn't like.
Fuck.
My past like history, like I've done all those drugs and stuff. Who knows? I might still be tripping on that stuff.
Yeah, you might be like in this fucking like, what am I doing in the studio? Like, what the fuck?
but you know, like I said, like honestly, I think a lot of that is spiritual. Like I think at one point in my time, we would actually have record of like. Actual alien, like a physical picture, not like a blurred picture from a distance or something.
Yeah, not no stupid fucking picture. Like we got high quality cameras.
You see
and
stuff
now
like falling from the sky and hitting Earth, but when you get close to it, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I think that's really like the devil.
Like the whole area 51 shit. Like, you know that we're supposed to have like a government that's supposed to tell us everything. Obviously, they don't tell us shit.
Oh nope. They're probably listening to us right now.
Yeah, they're probably, well, I'm going to post this shit on the online fucking world, motherfuckers. But, you know what I mean? Like, that shit should be to the public. That should be like, oh, we found an alien, and, or we found whatever the fuck they're hiding in there. You know what I mean? Like, new technology or whatever. But because they got the word terrorism all across the world, like, third world countries, which they're poor and they're all this shit. You know, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but that's where you got different aspects of like, you know, people who study different things, and we really don't learn shit much in school. It's just the history, which I think is also bullshit. I mean, history is important, but there's only certain history. Like, we should leave racism out.
I feel like history is just we're only feeded a one-sided story.
A one-sided fucking story, yeah.
They don't talk about like the massacre of the Native Americans, like how how the white people like tricked us, like how they don't tell us how like they set up boarding schools and like raped our children, like and like, they don't tell that kind of story because it's not positive. It's like it doesn't.
Yeah, and it's still bad, and it's so recent.
Yeah, and the United States like boast so much about like winning wars and stuff, but they don't talk about the wars that they did lost. Like
they don't talk about the winning. Like
like the Vietnam War is like really like how in the world would you go into a war that like you don't know? Like I don't know. Like I could go on and on about that.
Yeah, I gotta feel you.
Why are we even getting into like different like international problems and stuff when we have problems of our own? Like we're like billions of dollars in debt. Like
for
just
real,
fix that instead of putting it into like the military. I don't know. I can go on and on about that too.
Yeah, exactly. Me too, man. It's just a bunch of shit. Even when Obama wanted to go invade what was it, Syria or some shit like that, everyone was like, fuck you. Hold on, motherfucker. That was dumb, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the shit that's good the government's doing. They're gonna right now the people are waking up. then there's more and more people that are waking up and realizing like, wow, what the fuck? And this is why I'm making music now, is because I want to make the people of the Native America, like, tribes of the reservations and areas of all over the U.S. There's still those little tribes, and there's still the little reservation lines that they have, like those areas. And I want to make sure if everybody knows how fucked we are, how much things we've been through, and how much things we're still being affected. Like, there's a bunch of shit that they're doing. Like, they think they can run a mining land, or fucking like a mining operation, and then they got like pipelines running through certain reservations. Like, that's a bunch of fucking shit that a lot of Native Americans don't understand. You know what I mean? They're too into, like, too much into, social media or something, like, into their own lives. You know what I mean? Because, well, I understand that, because you're on the res, and res is, you really can't get internet out there. There's no, like, communication. There's no real person out there that'll bring this information out there. Yeah. So I think that through music and through podcasts and through shit like this, like putting that information and getting it out on the reservation or a community where we're connected online, where there's a lot of Native Americans listening. Yeah. So I think...
Yeah, just going back to, like, the whole Native American and the government system, like, how it's so corrupt. The government, like you said, is so corrupt. Yeah. Like, it's crazy how, like, the government has, like, influence the Native American culture, and how they actually twisted things to make the Native Americans depend on the government, like the U.S. government, and for us not to be independent and to be an actual sovereign nation, like an independent nation. I want to say that, but it's really we're not. We're kind of dependent on the U.S. government.
Yeah, U.S. government.
And like going back, going back to, I want to go back to like the spiritual realm, because I feel like we started from there. Mm-hmm. Like no just problem. going, just like contrasting, like how we are, how like the government is set up, like how just the native nation is being ensnared by the U.S. government. How are we being ensnared by the like drugs and psychedelic drugs and stuff, and like the FDA approved drugs? Like like drugs in general. You don't want to put none of that shit in your system. Like you don't want to put none of that stuff in your system, especially because you don't have control of your body. Even all the way down to food. Like I feel like the government controls the food, like what we eat and stuff. Like how like the whole
Monsanto.
Like the whole food pyramid, it was just BS. Like you had to consume this much bread and meat, stuff. Like people are getting obese and getting obesity. There's a bunch of like diabetes and stuff.
But then again,
like he said before, we are all waking up and we're realizing like the pyramid is like messed up, like and like we need to like we all change that to like portion size meals and stuff, like how much we're supposed to eat. I think we definitely changed the whole pyramid thing.
You think we should change it, right?
No, it's changed. Like
I mean, well, like as far as if you were to have that idea of what people should eat, I mean, what do you think should be on the pyramid as far as the portion size of meats, breads, and vegetables? And you think it should be more vegetables than meat? I
feel like bread should be out of the pyramid.
Okay, bread off.
And like bread should be off. But honestly, like you gotta I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't wait. Beer in. That has yeast. No. No. Like going back to seriousness, I honestly can't say like going to the nutrition.
Well, you're not a nutritionist. I know. Well,
I'm more of a sociology. I'm going through that major. Like I look at life at the governmental, like the individual and the community and stuff. Like I look at the outline, the broad, and I like to connect everything together. Like everything.
I know. Everything in a way is connected. Yeah. I mean, everything is connected in a way. I mean, like I know people think like religion is different from politics. Politics is different from whatever you have in your little life you're consuming. Mm-hmm. Actually, no. Everything is fucking connected because you don't know where religion came from. You were just told that from somebody that was standing in front of a group of kids like you. You know what I mean? You don't fucking know. Or you was given this book where it was printed and copied But then later in life, you know that you can make a book that's printed and copied. So you don't really know. That's the kind of thinking I'm in. Like, I'm just like, well, you know, you question everything. Is with the new age, the millenniums or whatever, fucking Generation X or whatever the fuck they call us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, all that is, you know, and then they got the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. You got spiritual catalysts, and the you know, the lady I was talking about, Teal Swan is her name. And these people coming out, which I resonate with them. I figure, like, the feeling is if you resonate with somebody, then that's a lot. That is what you should trust in. First instant is the feeling that if this person is good, if this person is deep inside, he's doing good. You know what I mean? Like, you feel good about, like, being around that person. That I think that you should just go forward with that. Mm-hmm. And go with that gut trust or the intuition, whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
I think that's dope.
Like I said, going back to like the drugs and stuff, how everything is natural, you know, like, you know, going back to the Bible and how the Bible talks about like the earth and stuff. You know, honestly, I think that earth belongs to the devil.
The earth belongs to the devil.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
He is a fallen. He is a fallen angel, and he does corrupt everything on earth.
Could be already here.
Yeah. He is already here. I think
he's
running
already
the show.
doing shit.
I feel like he's running the show and stuff. You know.
But see, if you say that, then...
and then when he runs the show on earth, like the Bible definitely talks about, like, don't build your kingdom here on earth, build it in heaven, meaning. Be good to people. Like, you don't want to be cursing people. You don't want to be saying, because us human beings are the only mammal or animal or whatever you call it. We're the only human beings are the only people who are able to think and talk. Yeah. No animal will be able to do that. If they did, I'll be scared. I'll kill it. My dog talked to me. I'll shoot it. Like, but you know, like, but anyways, like, human beings are the only ones who to talk, and you know, that brings a lot of power and, you know, being able to speak and to think intellectually. But you can also curse people with it. Like, the Bible even warns us about us being, like, be careful with our words and, like, don't be cursing.
Because certain words mean...
It could be a blessing or a curse, you know, our tongue. So it's like a fire. Like, we can't really control it. But we can control it by changing our heart and changing our mind. Yeah. But I feel like when you start doing drugs and doing things of earthly things, like, it starts to corrupt your body. Like, because our body is a temple. Anything that you inhale will hurt your lungs.
Well, not necessarily. Well, I guess. And if you inhale smoke,
if you hurt
the scientific,
any kind of smoke,
any kind of smoke,
scientifically, it will hurt
your lungs. Your lungs
puts on damage and stuff. But, you know, like, I honestly don't believe that POD and, like, things can heal you. Yeah, I believe they
cleanse you.
There is a sense of power of healing and stuff like that, but I don't feel like it's from the higher being of God.
Because I don't think it's
because Earth belongs to the devil.
Okay, what about this?
Everything belongs to the devil.
What about this? Okay, I recently did this thing where we could kind of travel on some expenses, which would, you know, give us a huge discount. But if we were to go to South America, and I would say, hey, let's try some ayahuasca in, like, South America over in the Amazon forest, would you be down to go?
Nah, I would go for the experience, but not for the drug.
I mean, not the drug. To do, like, a ceremony. You wouldn't go to do the ceremony? I mean, just for, you know, I think it's like maybe a 2-day or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's not... I mean, just to do it, experience it. Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
No, because I have a problem with being self-control. Like, I can't give my life to someone of a higher being that I don't know. Like, I honestly, I already made that commitment to God and Jesus. Like,
well, so you don't do peyote though? I mean, you don't, like, no, you're just like, you're against that though. So basically, when you're a Christian,
I did do peyote when I was, like, in high school and middle school, and honestly, like, it did change my life. It changed my life,
but it didn't change your.
But it got to a point where when I got to a certain point in a spiritual level, like, I changed. It clicked. Like, God, the actual God, like, talk to me, like.
Yeah. Epiphany. What if
Yeah,
God is? What if you thought maybe that was you, God? I mean, you're God. What if everybody's their own God? Have you ever thought about like, well, you know what? It's like channeling. Like your brain is a transmitter, and you're getting this signal from like your higher self, which is, you know, your higher whole conscience or whatever.
I feel like the Bible also talks about like man being gods. I feel like women in general are more sensitive to the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Women.
Yeah.
But for
they're
men,
more connected to Earth because they bleed.
Yes.
The whole
the whole Mother
menstrual.
Earth.
Yeah.
Menstrual
yeah.
thing. I feel like they're more connected to the spiritual realm. But as for men, I feel like men, when you think about the Christian society, like how it really like influenced like Native society, like how it really like where was I going with this? I was going somewhere.
That was not good. Yeah.
You know, like men are the head of the household.
Yeah.
We control the finances. We do all these like we raise our kids. We set down the rules and stuff. In a sense, men kind of see ourselves as being God. It's hard for us men to submit to someone a higher being than us, because we are in control. We are head of the house. We are control of our children, how they're going to be in that outcome. Yeah. That's how society has made men to be. Like men don't cry. Like so how I feel like a lot of men are more are less likely to submit to a higher being, or in that sense. But as for women, they're able to submit easily. Because I feel like society has rounded that in a sense. Yeah. But I was going with this somewhere.
I know, dude. That's how I am sometimes. I just talk and like, what the fuck am I saying here?
I was like, somebody answered it. I was like,
No, I totally understand. It's really complicated shit, though. I mean, it's really hard to get through a lot of people too. When you're doing that.
Okay, I remember what you were saying. So talking about like how men see themselves as being God, and like the Bible warns us, like people who are lovers of themselves, lover of money and stuff, like they feel like they're God and stuff, and they feel like that's their life, that's the world, and and there's no God, there's no. I feel like I'm talking about atheists and stuff. Like they are God, we are God, we control the world
within your heart,
our mind,
in your higher self.
It's kind of true, because we are image of God. The Bible talks about how we are image of God, but there is something much higher than us, and it's hard for men in general to submit to a higher being.
Well, that's why they say source is what you like. A baby is more closer to source than us, because we've been on this earth for a while. Like we're 25, 27, whatever. You know what I mean? So we've been on this planet, and we're experiencing all these experiences. But when babies are born, they're closer. They've just came from source. Source is where it all is, where everything, all the information. I mean, they knew that they're gonna come down and be, a baby and grow into, just be a human, and live this life. I think that we have the choice to be here.
So are you talking about more of incarnation?
I think, it
like
could be.
If you die,
if you die, you go up to source, back to whatever. But I think you have a choice. I think I would say is, you might have a choice to come back, or you don't. You can come back and do this thing, which I think being human is really, is a special thing. And I think that's why, a lot of, I think that's why, you're here and I'm here, and it's some kind of like crazy shit that I don't we don't all understand, but you come down here, and
let's bring this back to earth. Let's bring this out to earth. Like like you said, it's a miracle for us humans to be here on earth, because we're competing with how many drops of sperm is within a drop? Like a drop. Millions. So we are one out of millions of sperm that had raced to the front of that egg. You know, like like you say, we're special in a sense, in that kind of sense. Like we are special. Like,
but then again, like I also think like. Being a sperm, there's no spirit in a sperm. I mean, it could be like some kind of, I want to know. I mean, but I think a spirit goes in when the baby's like over the first few trimesters. I think a spirit enters into a baby's body and becomes life after maybe like the first trimester. I would think. You know what I mean? Like it's, but because a lot of people think, you know, abortion is good after a certain amount of time, but there's like honestly, after like a few weeks.
Like abortion, I'm totally against abortion.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean,
from day one, I feel like when two human beings, two vessels, two temples come as one, like we create a spirit. From day one, from like all the way from the sperm, is a spirit. Like it's part of me and it's part of the female. Like we are joining together. And when you kill something, I feel like it's murder. Honestly, like you know, like when a baby's developing, I've seen a lot of these museums and like the development of a baby. Like
you get as soon as the embryo and then it goes up. And
it's sad like when you see the embryo and like these like little babies like like how their heart is already beating.
Yeah.
But when their heart is beating, people just don't want the baby, and I feel like it's murder. Like you're murdering
your own child.
You're murdering your own child and stuff. I'm totally against that. Honestly, for me, and it goes back to like selfishness, like our selfishness, like we are God. Like the concept of we are God. So if you are murdering these children because of your own selfishness, because you didn't protect yourself, because you're messing around with multiple people, that was your own selfishness. For you to go out and mess around and to sneak off from your parents and to rebel, that's rebellion. So when you sneak off to that's rebellion and stuff. So that's your own selfishness. I feel like a lot of us human beings play as a role of God and to do all these things, and to take a life. Who are we to take a life? Like,
well, you say that rebellion,
but going back to like the Bible, it talks about how like a lot of these like people rebelled against God, and they went and sacrificed innocent children to this demon called, I think it was Babel or something like that. Babel. So they ended up sacrificing these innocent children to these to this devil, to this demon. So this was in the Bible in the Old Testament. And like when we think about it, it's like that's insane. Who would sacrifice an innocent child or your only one child to a devil, demon? We're doing it to this day. Like we are due to our own selfishness, our own God. We are sacrificing our own unborn child to.
Is that back then God. When the baby was actually born?
Yeah, that was actually then when the baby was born. They would actually.
Well, I think that's a whole different thing. Like nowadays, like back then, they couldn't just because they probably didn't know they were pregnant.
No,
like
no,
3-4 months. Like
like I said, like they had a born child. They had to have it innocent blood to be sacrificed to a demon or to this god. That it was called. They would heat this, like in the Bible. It was pretty descriptive in the Bible. I can't tell you what verse or what. I'm sorry, I haven't really been like up to date on my Bible.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But going back to like to the Bible, like they would heat this like golden statue with fire and the tongue sticking out and stuff, and they would place the baby on the tongue. And like it would go into the belly of the beast or the belly of the statue, and then the baby would burn. Very descriptive.
Jesus Christ!
Like, how is that different from today's society? How we are ourself God, or we are God of our own.
Well,
we're sacrificing these unborn children to our own selfishness. Like
your own selfish. Yeah. Well, you see, that's the problem. That's the ideology of somebody who's telling you, like, okay, well. these people back then, they were sacrificing their babies. That's really bad. You know, that's bad that they're just popping out babies and putting on this little thing and it's burning. You know, well, first of all, the baby or the spirit that's in that baby, you know, is going through something that they knew before they were coming in here on Earth. You know, so it's like an ideology that somebody brought in here.
You know,
that devil thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
to contradict
really,
that, you know,
contradictory.
Well, to contradict what you were saying was like human beings, we were created, we are special, different from the angels because the angels worship God. They worship God. They're pretty much like I see like angels be like almost like robots, but human beings.
But why do you see them as robots?
I don't know.
You don't know.
That's my own imagination. That's not from the Bible or anything like that. You know,
okay.
That's just me. Like I don't know. Like
that's you.
Maybe they're from a higher being. Like like that's outer space kind of stuff.
Okay.
But anyways, going back to us, like God created us, and we are special, and we are independent. We are we have free will, and I feel like the free will separates us from the angels. Like we have a choice, and if we have a choice, to like sacrifice these children, and it's on us, whose fault is it? Is it really God's fault, or is it our fault?
It's what if it's nobody's fault?
I feel like it's our fault because
what if that's human nature? What if that's part of being human?
That's part of being human. We make mistakes. Yes,
because there's a lot of human that abort.
But we could have prevented it. You know, we could have prevented it. Like, going back to like being mischievous and being promiscuous. Like you can prevent it. You could have prevented if you had a lot of condoms. If you had up to the society, you had condoms. You have.
But back then they didn't have condoms. They didn't have no machines.
But they had one wife. They're supposed to have one wife. Mm-hmm. But in the Bible, unfortunately,
they don't have wives. Oh wait,
they
have many wives.
Yes, they had many wives. They get married, though. It was a commitment between many wives. But today's society, no.
Okay, so what about free spirit? You said that angels. You think their angels are robots. What about the meaning of free spirit? I mean, what does that mean to you? I mean, having a free spirit.
Free spirit, I would just say it's our free will. Like it is, we can choose. Like
so if a human has free spirit, but he dies, he's just gonna go back up to be a robot again and just kind of like, or does he have that mentality of
the Bible talks
free?
About us being placed in a place gosh, you are picking my brain about the Bible. So we are placed, it's neither heaven or hell. We are placed in a spiritual realm where it's neither heaven or hell because the earth hasn't been judged yet. I feel how the earth hasn't been judged yet. And people talk about like the end of times and stuff. Honestly, when I think Apostle John talks about how like he had a vision of the Revelations. I think he even written the Revelations. He talked about like neither angels or humans will know the time of day of the end of the world. Not even the angels know when the end of days will be. Like, how are we supposed to know when the end of days are? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of misconception about maybe that. Maybe there's misconceptions, but maybe they are warning us and maybe they are telling us. I believe some of the things that are in the Bible, don't get me wrong. I mean, I believe, like, there's a lot of things that are, like, you know, the end of time is coming. But I also think that... alright, you need the restroom. It's alright, I could just press pause on this bitch. Yeah, well, we might as well just start a new podcast. But we'll do it right now. We'll switch up. Alright. Podcast number 6. Stay tuned for number 7. Later. Our vibrations reach the level of Christ consciousness. When this happens, it will be a dark day for skinwalkers or people who curse other people, manipulating one's life to go in a